Tell me when you're comfortable.
No.
Okay. Welcome everybody to another edition of Poetry in the Woods with Moose and me. Yep. Anyway, today's edition of Poetry in the Woods goes out to all my educator friends, my friends at Byrd Middle School, Johnson Middle School, Walpole High School, East Bridgewater Middle High School, Sharon High School, Medfield High School, and my friends at other places such as Bridgewater State University, BU, MIT, and especially to the Nottingham Girls High School. Well, years ago when I first started my career, we didn't have email. We had mailboxes in the office and everything gets stuck in there, and we'd check them 2 or 3 times a day. And back then we had do-gooders who would try to enlighten us and make us happy, and the way they did this was by sticking an inspirational poem or essay that they found somewhere and Xeroxing it and sticking it on our mailboxes. And well, you know, I used to get those all the time, and well, back in those days I was a little bit rebellious back then. What? Yeah, no, back then. No, I'm not rebellious now. No, that's grumpy. It's totally different. Yeah, totally different thing. Okay, so anyway, I felt back then that it was necessary to have an opposing viewpoint. So, without further ado, an ode to the authors of inspirational poems. There was a man in days of old who passed his days in a house grown cold. He dwelt on the deeds he'd no longer do, as the leaves of his life turned a golden hue. But one deed undone preyed on his mind, as he'd oft passed it by for the simpler kind. In reflection he seemed like an also-ran, for he'd said all his life, "I don't think I can." For a century half a baton he had wielded, while music sublime the opera house yielded. Yet a conductor's nightmare loomed o'er his head, as from Wagner's ring cycle his courage had fled. For a fortnight he wrestled with fear and self-doubt, till he opened a cupboard and rummaged about. Then Wagner's great manuscript lay in his hand, and he placed the feared score in his brass music stand. Then month after month he waved and he flayed, and he imagined he heard every note being played. As he slowly beat back his gnawing regret, his countenance gained a determinate set. With gentle reverence he slid from a case a silver baton, which he raised to his face. The long-dreaded opera would be conquered at last, for he knew in his heart he had conquered his past. With bravado he marched to the opera house door, while boiling gray skies poured forth a dull roar. Of the gathering multitudes not a soul spoke, as he drew the baton from neath the folds of his cloak. With triumphant smile he raised up his staff, and a huge bolt of lightning sliced him in half. So let life's cruel lessons be your valued instructor. It just doesn't pay to be too good a conductor. Right? Yeah. Well, thank you. That's all for today. Another episode in Poetry in the Woods with me and Moose. Until next time, Moose and I will see you later.